computer.
The YouTubes.
Howdy, YouTubers. You get this sweet, sweet Bobo. And let me get rid of that. You don't know that because I wasn't talking to you. Weirdly sentient AI.
Wow.
Yeah, scary. Nope, not going to update that. And then what's going on over here?
Let's
see if we had, we got to get the internship program going, folks. If you want to be an intern, unpaid, and probably get some free beer out of it, I'm guessing.
There you go.
And also to just hang out with these two lovely gentlemen on a regular basis.
There we go.
Yay,
we're live.
It's something to consider. Hey, we're live, folks. It's Wednesday night, and you're lucky I'm sitting right here where I am, because up until about 2.5 hours ago, we didn't have power in this house. We were out. Yeah. We were out for about, I think, 5-6 hours.
Oh, wow.
And at one point in time today, there were 35,000 people across Indianapolis without power. So thank you, Summer Storm, for that one.
Summer Storm.
But we are here. I am the Mr. Aaron, and this is Professor Casey, and together we are the Evan and Aaron Show. We're glad that you have joined us. Glad to be live. I'm sporting the soccer background, and my buddy here is sporting the Red Legs background. The Red Legs unfortunately blew it last night against Milwaukee, but still holding on to that number 2 wild card spot.
Still one game up, man.
So I think if we could take maybe the next 2 here, that'd be real nice, and the Red Legs could consolidate. I mean, it's still a long ways to go, man. We're in the dog days, as they say.
Man, and, I tell you, it's going to be a fight to the end. The Padres they're no joke. As I look at the standings right now, let's see, wild card. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're going to be battling the Padres, the freaking Cardinals. Ugh. The Phillies and the Mets probably. It's going to be a horse race between them. The Dodgers pretty much have one locked up. They've got that one locked up. We're not going to catch them. We catch the Brewers before we caught the Dodgers. So
I would think so. And you know what? If we could have swept here, man, that would have gone a long way. That would have been huge. We'd have cut in. It was 7.5 coming in. Now we're 8.5. We could have taken it to 4.5. That would have been sweet. But I'm with you. We just need to kind of keep it from falling apart here, like it happened last night. 4-1 up in the 7th and falling apart to lose 6-4. That's the Red Legs, man. That's what is happening to us right now. Late games. I feel bad for Lorenzen, but he just does not have it. He looks small too. He doesn't look like he's been doing the same workouts.
I mean, you can't keep relying on the same guys, Castellanos and Votto. I mean, those guys, they keep producing night after night, but someone else has got to pick up the slack. They've got to.
Although the weirdest statistic is Nick Castellanos has been plunked 4 times. In the last 4 times that he's been plunked, Joey Votto has come up right after him and driven him in with a home run. Super, super weird stat. Maybe the next guy don't pitch to Joey Votto because, as the kids say, Joey Votto bangs.
That's right.
Joey Votto still bangs. So those pleasantries out of the way. Evan, a week ago, we were sitting here wondering, how bad is it a comparison to Vietnam? How horrible is this withdrawal from Afghanistan going to go? We weren't getting people off the tarmac. It was very hard getting Americans to the airport. Right. And yet a week later, against the naysayers and the mainstream media, who once again, folks, aren't liberal or conservative. They're the media.
Yes.
Okay. If it bleeds, it leads. They don't care who's bleeding as long as somebody's bleeding, and they'll manufacture some blood if they need to. Well,
absolutely.
Against their naysaying, we have evacuated 70,000 plus Americans in the last 10 days. Obviously got several thousand more to go, but very clearly, the CIA, the leader of the CIA, I believe it was, meeting with the leader of the Taliban, basically saying, look, we're going to probably bomb the shit out of you again and kill you if you don't allow the Americans to get out of here. Yeah. Evan, my take on it is that we've decided to leave because we realize this is a war we can't win, and the people there neither want us there nor are willing to take control of their country. And a year ago, the previous president negotiated this withdrawal. And what he negotiated was the Taliban agreed to stop attacking U.S. troops if the U.S. said, we're going to get out. And that's what we did. Now, if you got a problem with this withdrawal, you need to go back and start with that. Or maybe go back 20 years ago and ask yourself whether we should have gone to Afghanistan in the first place. Lots of people from both parties have made mistakes here. All that said, knowing what we know now and the fact that obviously we have negotiated and we're getting Americans out, we're sticking with August 31st. How are you feeling about it? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, there's a couple things I want to say. Number one, you are absolutely right. The media is the media, and that will always be the case. It was interesting early on because it's very easy to look at this as a travesty, as, oh wow, it's terrible that we totally didn't we didn't do it the right way, blah blah blah. I think we said this last week, man, and I've really been thinking about it. I'm not sure there was a right way at this point to do it. I mean, I just don't know. I think we painted ourselves in a corner through all of the, the missed opportunities and the terrible, leadership whenever it came to Afghanistan over the years. And to top that off, the last 5 years, we had someone in office that was not only willing to, bring in a foreign power that is known to, not have our best interests in mind, Russia, but you're also willing to negotiate with the Taliban and not literally tell anybody. I mean, that's the fact that this administration is being very transparent with what they're doing. The fact that, Biden is saying, look, I stand by my decision. Okay, great. Stand by your decision, man. That's cool. We all can be pundits at sometimes, but when we look at the complexity of the situation, I think you said it best, man. That I'm not sure there was a right way to do this at this point, man. I just don't know that the choices were there. I'm not sure they were there anymore.
Well, the two criticisms are, how quickly the Taliban took over the country. But the second the U.S. decides to sort of shrink things and begin to pull out, look, the government of Afghanistan is now the Taliban. So that's who you negotiate with. And this is where I'm, I probably had harsh words in the moment, and maybe I need to go back and look at exactly what I may have said on the topic. But the Trump administration meeting in secret with the Taliban and negotiating was something that was going to need to happen too. Look, they realized the reason why they pulled out. I'm hoping, rather than just Donald Trump waking up and deciding today's the day with no real information, is that they recognize the futility of staying there. The corruption that exists in both the Afghan government and the military, their unwillingness to fight their own war and their ineptitude to fight their own war means the Taliban was always going to come back into power. And maybe it was one of the most prescient things that they did was actually having the wherewithal to understand that. Now, Stephen Miller's hands and scent and stench is all over this. So I don't think they were nearly that smart about it, but I will give credit where it's due that this isn't the wrong decision to leave Afghanistan. And there are things I would love to have seen better about it. But at the end of the day, there's no graceful way to lose a war. And that's what we've done here.
I'm gonna pull a Shannon Sharp. I'm not gonna call you Skip. I promise I won't call you Skip. I'm gonna go. Aaron, you said it. You said it, man. You absolutely said it. You said it. I refuse to give the man who said that he would grab people by the, you know what? I refuse to give the man that much credit that said that there were good people on both sides of an all-out race war. I refuse to give him that credit. What I think happened was he stumbled into doing the right thing. He stumbled into doing the right thing because I think he saw it as a political move that best served Republicans by saying, we brought the troops home. Now, I'm not saying that totally the entire administration felt that way. I think there were people that said, yeah, this is a good move because it's a few times. I don't think he saw it that way. I don't think he did, because if he did, that would be one of the biggest talking points I would be talking about if I was him. It's like, if I was Donald Trump and I was at this rally this past weekend, I'd be like, y'all, look, the reason why I made this decision was because I saw how futile it was to stay there, and somebody had to start the negotiation. He did not do that, which tells me that he is an idiot. Tells me that he is as dumb as we're going to pull a Denny Green, man. He was who we thought he was. I mean, that's it. It's exactly what it was. He was who we thought he was. There may have been some people in his administration, Aaron, that's that smart, but he did not listen to them, which tells me a lot about his intelligence, my friend. I'm sorry.
I don't disagree, but when it comes to politics, it's much like when Chicharito made his debut for Manchester United and got himself into a good scoring position, and the ball came to him, and he swung at it and completely mishit it, and it bounced up and hit him in the face and then went in the goal. At the end of the day, on the score sheet, it says Chicharito.
I get it.
At the end of the day, the Donald Trump administration started the process of withdrawing the U.S. troops from Afghanistan, and that goes in the plus column. It doesn't. It's basics. It's basics. Okay.
Okay.
That's why people talk about Bill Clinton with NAFTA. He didn't start NAFTA. He was the guy who signed the bill. Okay. Sure. So I get your point. I absolutely agree with you. I don't, he backdoored it, but
I get it.
It's a decision that needed to be made a long time ago. I mean, I think Joe Biden has felt this way a while, and I don't know what Obama thought about it. I don't know if he thought we were nation building at that point. I think that, as Esquire put it, an ex post facto, hey, we're still there, so nation building, rather than we've clearly failed to eradicate the Taliban.
Right.
I feel horrible about the situation, and there is no good solution, but sticking around was not going to help. And you're right. He also negotiated out without the Afghan government president for said deal. He did, but I'm not going to put myself in a position to defend the motivations of Donald Trump for this. What I will say is it's pretty obvious that the government of Afghanistan was going to fall regardless.
Okay. No, absolutely. I give you that. They
did not have the wherewithal militarily or as a government to stand up to the Taliban. If they did, they'd be doing it. The man fled the country.
Right.
So
but I think what this does is it gets us back to maybe one of the main points. And the fact is, why are we pointing our finger at Joe Biden? It's like, what? If we weren't there to win a war, then why are we pointing our finger at Joe Biden? It needs to be W that we look at.
No, you know why? You know why? Because he's president right now, and that's the news cycle.
Okay. Yeah. No, you're right.
I mean, man. If you dive deep on a news program with integrity, don't point to the Five or in any roundtable talk show on mainstream cable television. But I guarantee you can probably find more people on the internet. You can find people on an NPR program. You can probably find people on plenty of libertarian websites that are saying, exactly this, that there was no good way to leave, but leaving sooner rather than later is what needed to happen. Now, if you want to talk minutia of, how we make sure we get all the Americans out quicker and anybody who helped us out, you know, I'm willing to listen on that, but I'm not sure Joe Biden's operating on that level. He's saying, I want to get out, put our best people on it. And yeah, buck stops with him. And he's taking responsibility in a way that we've not seen the last guy do in his entire life, never mind the 4 years he was president. So it's kind of moot to me. But again, if it bleeds, it leads. And that's what the media's got to go with. It's a lot more interesting to show Afghanis hanging from the wheel wells of planes taken off from the Kabul airport than it is to talk about the, you know, wherewithal of the Afghan military, or the fact that basically the last decade and a half of this whole thing was a way to make money for American military contractors in Afghanistan. If you've ever seen War Inc., you know exactly what I'm talking about. Exactly, that's obviously an exaggeration, but we were there to make money. I'm sure Halliburton is still there, or Blackwater.
Oh, absolutely. It's like, what the hell were they doing? I mean, and that's the answer. They were making money. They weren't there. And here's what kills me about all this, Aaron, is that you had soldiers there, and you have seen the interviews with these soldiers, and they are legitimately saying, well, then what the hell were we there for? It's like, why then did I spend all those years there? Well, you know what? Here's the thing. You have been used. You've been used by government contractors. You've been used by your government. That's what I'll say. And you know what? And this is the thing. You know me, man, both of us, like, we will call it like it is. This is a Democratic and a Republican failure. Now, absolutely. I will put the majority where the majority probably should rest. And that's, you know, quite frankly, that's on the Republicans, because they're all about the war machine, man. I mean, I'm not saying that the Democrats aren't. But
no, but you got Madison Cawthorn today talking about, you know, what a failure this is, and that we should be sticking around, and that, you know, we're in the business of killing terrorists and business is booming and all that shit. Hey, dude, I don't recall you serving. I'd like Madison Cawthorn to walk across the hall and have a discussion with Dan Crenshaw.
I'd like to, yeah. Let's see his portfolio.
This is something I'm a lot more sympathetic. I'm a lot more sympathetic to Dan Crenshaw on this than I am other topics that with the guy. You know, sure. I think he's a typical modern day Republican in that respect. But dude served. So I will listen to his perspective. I'm not going to listen to some amped up frat boy who never in his life would volunteer to go overseas and do that kind of shit.
Yep. Man, Io says this, and this is good. This is I think where we're getting at, is that even if they were going to fall to the Taliban, negotiating without the Afghan government was not the move. Trying to put coherent thoughts, but struggling. I guess what I'm trying to say is that if the Afghan government were included, maybe they would fall, but at the very least, we would have given them a fighting chance since we've invaded their country for 20 years. I absolutely agree with that.
I don't disagree.
It was low down. It was dirty. It showed a vote of no confidence for what our military was over there trying to do. It showed the reasons why we were there. It showed everything. It's like, no, we're going to, it's as if we, you know what, it's as if I said, you know, my little brother came to me and said, hey, I got a bully at the playground bullying me. And I said, come on, you're going to fight this guy. And then I go up to the bully and say, hey, I got $10 on you. I mean, that's exactly what this is what that meeting was. It's like, look, I know you're going to win, man. I got $10 on you. You know, it's like, why would we do that?
It continues the cycle of what we've done in that part of the world for 4 decades now.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it just shows you that, and that was just more of the same from the Trump administration. They always dealt in dirty secrets. It was always 2 guys and a briefcase in a, you know, dimly lit parking garage, or the Ukraine, you know. My bad, not the Ukraine. But that kind of thing, and we know it. We've got phone transcripts, we've got recordings, we've got admissions from people. We know it's what went on. It just, I guess my final point would be this. It is a net good that the United States is leaving Afghanistan. We will be back. unfortunately, at some point, because the Taliban is going to take control. On September 1st will begin an absolute scourge across the country, or, liquidating anybody who showed sympathy to the previous Afghan government. Women and young girls are going to be raped and murdered and taken as chattel. Young boys will probably be made into slaves, probably also raped.
Soldiers turned into
6 years old soldiers. And the rub is, this was always a no-win situation. Just like Iraq, just like so many other places, because for a second you're defeating somebody's enemy doesn't mean you also aren't still theirs.
Yeah.
I mean, we went into, Kuwait and helped them out. And I believe it was, while we, prepped in Saudi Arabia, they're like, we're glad you're here, but fuck you guys, because you're on our soil. And it's like, you can't win for trying, but also maybe stop selling those fucking people the weapons too. That's another thing. We were never taking all this shit with us. So your point of things are falling into enemy hands, yeah, they are, except you don't give a shit. They're using our weapons already.
Yeah,
we're already a third or fourth party sell. I mean, what are we, the largest arms dealer on the planet?
Pretty much. Yep.
So that sort of Marco Rubioing, I just find annoying and just dismiss.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's a human tragedy going on right now, and sadly one of several that not only are we trying to extricate ourselves from, but we're largely responsible for in the first place. Yep. And we are just destined to repeat history for a very long time.
There you go. I just told my students today, I said, that whole line, you're destined to repeat it, history, if you don't learn from it. I kind of tweaked it. I said, you know what, if you don't know history, then you have no opportunities to change the present.
Absolutely.
You don't. So no. With that, my friend,
with that, let's announce it's halftime.
Yeah.
Jojo, if you're listening
today,
Jojo, if you're listening, it's time to pop back in. See, it would help. See, this is, again, the intern would come in so handy right now.
Absolutely.
So as we wait, we will prep and let you know that she's going to give a little promo for an event that we talked about last week, but it's always good to hear it straight from the organizer's mouth, and also just the passion she brings to it, because I know this is it's something near and dear to her heart, and I am so just in awe of her and Jen doing this sort of stuff, and very, very appreciative of it. And just like that, we've got the bing bing. So without further ado, we've got Joanne Levins connecting, and she is here to tell you all about the upcoming cancer benefit for the Wendy Hudson Foundation. Jojo, you are a go.
Hi guys, I'm Jojo with the Wendy L. Hudson Appendix Cancer Awareness Foundation. Just wanted to let you guys know we are hosting an event at Chatham Tap Fishers on September 18th at 1 o'clock. It's our fourth almost annual, not quite a bar crawl. We're going to have raffles. We'll have silent auctions. We're going to have a 50-50 drawing. I think we're going to have some cornhole there. So if you want to play that, tons of good food, great people. We're supporting a local woman who is battling cancer. Her name is Holly. She's an amazing woman. She's a sweetheart. Everything that we raise will go towards her to help her pay for maybe some hospital bills, or to send her and her husband on a bucket list kind of trip. You can donate if you can't make it. I will post the website in the comments so everybody can do that. There is a donate button on our website. It's a great time. It's a great cause. It's near and dear to everybody that we love's heart. Like, please come out and support us.
Yeah.
Jojo, that's awesome. So proud of you for putting this on. It's a great thing for every year. And this year, I know Holly, I know Ryan. They're just such great people, and you guys are doing a wonderful thing. So everybody, check out the comment section, go and donate if you aren't able to make it, or do both, and come share your support. Holly and Ryan will definitely love it. And so this shot is to you, JoJo and Jen. And
I got my shot.
Nice. And also to Holly, and to the very special person that Wendy was as well. So here's to all of you.
Yes.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
Woo.
Ah, woo.
Oh, brutal. All righty. Bye-bye, dear.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Have a good night. Happy birthday.
Yep.
Thank
happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Oh man. I tell you, it's good. It's so good that you have friends that care about each other.
Yeah.
You know that? I mean, it's cool. It's really cool. I'm very happy to support that cause, man.
Very, very much. So on to the other cause of looking after our community and our people.
Mm-hmm.
The FDA has fully approved the use of the Pfizer vaccine, Pfizer Moderna. Is that right?
Yes.
Pfizer Moderna.
Pfizer, and they did both?
No. It's Pfizer.
Just Pfizer. Yeah, just Pfizer.
Yeah. No. What's now I'm really messed up.
Uh-oh. Did they drop both of them now?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
But it's Pfizer was a joint research. So they tend to always get the really Pfizer like fish. So Pfizer BioNTech.
Oh, okay.
My bad. Yes, the Moderna is a third one. So the FDA, that sorry folks, that was way too long for you to just watch my brain move. The FDA approved the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, and it is now known as Comirnaty. I'm not even, drug names are stupid. What I can tell you is now we're going to see a commercial where probably somebody has a clawfoot bathtub in the middle of a field of poppies and they have a cough.
Yes. Oh my God, man.
Weird music will be playing in the background.
You know what I was so excited. I was so excited to see was the amount of organizations, the amount of schools. I know the hatred out there for Ohio State. I get it, but you know what? I got to applaud Ohio State because they did it. They were like, you know what? Look, as soon as we're doing it. And even in a state like Ohio, where you have Jim Jokton, which is what I call him now, they did it anyway. And, I applaud them. I applaud all the schools that are now falling in line, all the organizations that are doing it. There's no excuse. Absolutely no excuse now, Aaron. No. It's approved. And what I'm starting to see, and I kind of want to get your opinion on this. What I'm starting to see is pushback from, the anti-vaxxers. We saw, I saw a post that listed, quote unquote, other drugs and other substances that the FDA has approved that are, poisonous substances. And I'm like, oh, here we go. So I don't know. Have you seen any, pushback on this now? That's just getting even more extreme and radical than what we've seen before.
Well, yet again, I'm looking this up real quick because I want to make sure I get the person right. What I will say is, much like so many other things when it comes to Ohio State, IU did it first.
I will give you that, my brother. Hey, no.
But I think more importantly, not only did IU do it, but because they did it so early on, they actually have set a precedent now. And Amy Coney Barrett, of all people, was one of the people who basically dismissed the rebuttal out of hand. Like, no, they can do this. This is for the safety of schools. So maybe we're, need to cut them a little slack. They can do the right thing on certain things, but I think, that gave wide berth for schools, specifically colleges, to be able to implement such mandates. But definitely the FDA approval of a drug. I mean, you always had to show vaccination proof for certain things to go to elementary school, to go to college.
Absolutely.
And now this is one of those things that's added to the list. Maybe it'll get removed in a few years, but right now you need it. And there's a precedent for that. Yeah. And because it's now approved, I think you're going to see a lot more organizations. I think you're going to see airlines basically saying you can't travel unless you're vaxxed.
Right. So
we'll put you on the dirty plane, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. The soulless plane.
You and the guy that's already sneezing.
Snakes on a plane. Here's what I saw though, Aaron, and this is what's blowing my mind. I actually I heard that this was happening, and yeah, I'm gonna call it out. I heard this was happening up in Sheridan to some of our friends of the pod. There are families in that school system that are threatening that if there's any type of mask mandate put on that school, they will pull their kids from the school, which what it does is that will reduce funding, because there's a certain amount of time that has to pass before the state looks at the total enrollment of your school. And so they are literally threatening to pull their kids and to reduce funding to schools if they put a mask mandate on, man.
Good luck. Good luck with that.
This literally is happening in our backyard, which for me, I'm like, what have we become? Like, I don't know. We could spend all night talking about, the Trump presidency and how that gave permission for everybody to literally be as nasty as they want to be. Or just to be as racist as they want to be, or be as homophobic as they want to be. This is an entirely new level, man.
The weirdest trilogy of albums for Two Live Crew ever.
Yes, there you go.
Well, look, man, a lot of us learned to not touch a hot stove at an early age. And almost every one of us had to learn the hard way, accidentally touching that stove. But if you're somebody who refuses to use an oven mitt when you take shit out of the oven after learning that lesson, then I don't have a lot of sympathy for your burned hand. And if I was a doctor, I'd get sick of seeing a lot of burned hands.
Yeah.
That was a pretty clumsy analogy, folks. But I kind of think I made my point. Like, look, at this point, I have a certain amount of arrogance about it because I'm smart enough to know what I don't know. And that is, I should trust in the science when it makes sense, and it makes absolute fucking sense. It's now approved. And I'm vaccinated. And the second I'm eligible to get a booster, I don't care if you need me to bong it or
we can only hope.
Stuff it up my butt. I really don't care how you want to administer it. I'm going to get the booster. I really don't give a shit.
Yep.
And for the first time in a long time, folks, I'm going to get the flu shot. I haven't been doing it. I had pretty poor excuses for it the last time, but I'm going to, and I'm probably going to start wearing my mask a lot more once the fall kicks in. I will. I don't go into a lot of places right now that are heavily trafficked. So I still feel like I probably have a false sense of security a little bit because the Delta and the breakthrough and all that shit. But my point stands. If you want to go play in traffic, I can't stop you. I can tell you all day long, hey man, you can Frogger all you want. You're eventually going to end up a squish toad.
Yeah. I just got to say this, and this is something I wasn't going to say this week, but I am. I've been feeling really sad and depressed lately, man. And I think part of it is because we were on the cusp. I mean, we were right there. We were right there, man. And and you do everything right, and you get the shot, and you wear your mask, and you weather all this storm, and now we're on the verge of being shut down again. And I'm not saying that, guys, listen, I'm not saying that like loosely. I think there are plenty of educational institutions that are not reporting.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are plenty of places that are underreporting. I think that we will continue to see kids get sick, and we will hear from, I'm sorry, but we'll hear from the right, the shouts of who cares, in the way of, no, you can't take our rights away, or don't tell parents what to do, and it's really got me down, man. It really has. It's got me down. It's like, you want to celebrate. You remember this time last year, and it's like, oh my God, this time last year, it's like the vaccine was so far away, and it was all shut down, and we were able to get out and do some cool things, man, with friends, and for the pod, and watch games, and I, and I'm shutting that down for myself. Like, I feel like I'm going back into quarantine for myself, and it's like, I feel horrible about it, and I don't know if anybody else does, but that's just the way I feel. I feel like we're going through this again.
Yeah.
It's like saying that, I don't like scary movies, but someone's sitting me down and forcing me to watch a scary movie. It's sad. It's sad, man.
Well, I definitely, we're already seeing schools going back to remote learning. Unfortunately, what we're seeing is because a lot of kids are getting it that didn't last year, because the Delta variant is a lot worse. And strangely, viruses seem to pick the lock, and they're like, oh, we didn't target kids last time. You know what we're doing with this one? Fuck the kids. So I think we're going to see a lot more, e-learning again. I think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see business shutdowns. I don't think we're going to see restaurants and stuff go back to that, because especially as we're able to implement vaccine passports.
Yes.
I think you'll see more of that. And you know what?
I agree.
That'll be a business decision. But look, there's going to be a certain segment of people who say, oh, I have to show a vaccine passport in order to come to your restaurant or your movie theater or your concert or whatever. Well, fuck you, I'm boycotting it. But for every one of those, I think there's going to be 10 more people going, I'm coming to your restaurant because I know it's safe.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Here's the thing. It just keeps ringing in my ear, and I had to call my daughter. And I had to tell her, man. I was like, we're back in person, and I want to ask you if it's okay, to still see the grandbaby.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks. And shit. It is personal. I mean, this COVID thing is so personal, because those of us who really take this shit seriously, man, we have to think. We've got to think ahead of time. And I'm like, it would destroy me if I gave my granddaughter anything. It would destroy me if it was because
no, absolutely. And this is the human aspect of it that I just don't think people are taking into consideration if it hasn't happened to them. And, the only thing I can hope is that, these videos of hardcore right-winger, talk show hosts and podcasters and religious leaders that were staunchly anti-vaccine sending videos from their hospital bed right before they get, a ventilator put in, saying, I was completely wrong. This is the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life, and I may not live through it. And please, because if you don't want to listen to me because I'm smug or I'm a liberal or whatever your excuse is, that's fine. But if you aren't listening to your own people, I saw a post today and I reposted it, and it was from a pastor. And I said, look, this is not my team, but I'm glad somebody's saying it.
I saw that. That was a good one.
It was something to the effect of, if you've gotten to the point where you think sacrificing a little bit of your personal freedom for the collective good is somehow wrong, then you have vastly failed to learn what Jesus did on the cross. Talk about the ultimate sacrifice for the common good. I'm literally going to die knowing that you're all going to be sinners, and I'm absolving you of that so long as you recognize this.
Yeah.
If all these people could just say, you know what, the most Christian thing I could possibly do right now is to get vaccinated and wear a mask if I go out, which I got to be honest, I don't think I've ever heard of a more easy sacrifice. You're not being asked to storm the beaches in Normandy. You're not being asked to hide in half an apartment for 2.5 years.
You're not being asked to walk across the Pettus Bridge, in Selma. You're not asked to do that, man. I mean,
you're literally being asked to not go to work, to eat your commute every day.
Yeah.
And order pizza more often. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's it.
Is your Netflix queue empty?
It's the thing. I mean, once again, it's the whole thing. If you subscribe to Christianity and you miss the parable of the 99 sheep, it blows my mind how you can call yourself a Christian. It does. And once again, your founder of your belief, founder of your religion says that he would leave the 99 sheep to go rescue the one, which in later years, Spock put it so well. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. That's, and that, I don't know how many people can put a Jesus and Spock quote together. And I'm just saying, it's a gift, brother. It's a gift.
There ain't no monorail, and there never was.
And ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about today, my friend, is there anything that you wanted to,
Let me see if there's anything that we have failed to cover here.
Okay, because it's a very simple Hey Aaron segment tonight, and I'm just going to let you riff. I'm going to let you riff, man.
Honestly, for the first time, we have legit. Oh, wait, there was one more thing that you wanted to talk about that you said, and remember, I said I didn't catch it till late in the day.
Oh, the commission. Yes. The January 6th commission.
The phone records.
Yes. Oh, shit.
Awful lot of puckered asses in the Senate and the House right now.
It's as if your long-term girlfriend comes across your phone. You know what I'm talking about, fellas. You know what I'm talking about. Not me, but the ultimate scenario. It is interesting to think about what certain people who gave this on that day toward the crowd, certain people who got up and, did the rabble rousing and got them all riled up. It's interesting to think about the phone records. And the funniest thing, man, and I'm going to let you talk about this because I'm not even going to mention anything else but the name. I hope you saw Jim Jordan try to explain away his phone records. Did you see this, man?
I did not, but
oh my God, brother. It looked like, literally taking my scenario, it looked like the girlfriend was confronting a brother with the, with the phone records, he's got different area codes. I mean, he literally was like, see what had happened was, I mean, he had nothing for him, man.
Yeah.
He had nothing for him. What do you think about this situation, brother?
I think it's fucking hysterical. It's sad, but I mean, we're gonna get to the bottom of why Marjorie Taylor Greene was given a midnight tour of the the basement hallways of the Capitol building.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might have been nothing. Maybe she was showing her cousins around. I'm willing to accept that if that's the truth, but I'm just saying, I kind of think it might be something else.
Oh man, I tell you, I think that it is going to, I think that it's going to show that there were folks involved. Now here's the thing. If it doesn't, you know what? I'm like you. I'm like, okay, good. I still don't like them, but my God, to be a part of an insurrection and to be guiding folks. Okay, good. But what happens? I mean, what happens if the phone records reveal that they not only were accomplices, but they were also talking to the president at that time, who was approving of these things? I'm just throwing that out there, man. I'm just throwing it out there.
I would like to think that for a change, we will have the stomach to prosecute and put people away. I believe Donald Trump committed either treasonous or seditionist acts, depending on how you want to define it. And should be confined for the rest of his life. He obviously won't go to the same sort of prison. I'm not going to pretend he's going to end up on Rikers Island or something like that, or in a supermax. But for him to live out the rest of his life in humiliation and never being able to influence people again,
satisfying,
would have a certain amount of satisfaction, because it's going to be a generation or two before the damage that administration has done to the United States and the world can be rectified. And I didn't elect Joe Biden to resolve those conflicts. I elected Joe Biden to begin the healing that needs to happen in order for the groundwork to be done for all that shit.
Yep.
So hopefully we are on that path.
Absolutely.
But if I were Jim Jordan or Marjorie Taylor Greene or any number of people, ironically, I think the one guy who's probably safe in all this is Mitch McConnell, because he's not on speed dial. He's not on speed dial for Trump. Yeah, but he didn't approve of that. He was not supportive of what went on. I see. This is where we're going to part ways.
Okay. That's all right.
I dislike Mitch McConnell greatly and think he's an arch villain politician, but he is not part of that cabal.
He knew that was just too much.
He did. And that's not how he wants government to operate.
Okay.
He's fine with all the gerrymandering and all that bullshit. He doesn't want government running like that, because I think he recognizes, much like other people who are like, why would you cut cocaine with fentanyl? Why would you kill the people you're selling to? Why would you kill your clientele? Hey, why would we want our staunchest supporters to go to jail for very obvious crimes?
Yeah.
This is dumb. And also, we lost, but we didn't lose. So we retool and come back. Like, he recognizes that not holding the Oval Office isn't the worst thing. Guy might be more powerful than the president at times.
Oh yeah. absolutely.
So he was smart enough to know better, but the total fools, your Jordans, your Boberts, your Greens, your Cawthorns, your Hollies.
Yeah.
Nah, they are frantically hoping to get on flights to non-extradition countries right now.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let us progress to my favorite part of the show, the Hey Aaron segment. And Aaron, literally, I only have one. Actually, no, I got two questions for you. And it's funny you mentioned IU at the beginning, because both of them surround predictions from you about IU and their performances. First, I want to touch on IU football.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think they are going to land, my friend? Where do you think that they're going to end up? And will they pull off the impossible, beating Ohio State? Because they have Ohio State
in Bloomington. I don't follow college football so closely as to know all the new incoming players, outgoing, that sort of thing. I do believe that if Michael Penix had stayed healthy, he would have been the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, not Josh Fields. Is it Josh Fields? Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say whether or not I necessarily think Penix has a higher upside in the NFL than Justin Fields or not. I think Justin Fields is perhaps, I won't say overrated, just too young for us to know yet.
He's doing pretty good with the Bears.
Yeah, but played one year of ball, now going pro. That's tough. Okay. I think Penix is an incredible athlete, and so long as he comes back healthy from this injury, I think he might be Big Ten MVP of the year. Now, again, I don't follow it closely enough, so I don't know if Ohio State's got a stud coming in. I don't know if Michigan's got a stud coming in, but I think that I've looked at the schedule. It's pretty favorable to IU. I think if IU beats Ohio State in Bloomington, Indiana can win the Big Ten.
Oh my God. Wow. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. And I actually have another question popped in my brain, but I want to ask you about the big one. The big one first. IU basketball, my friend. IU basketball. Where are we? And where do you think we're going to be at the end of the season?
I've not seen reasonable expectation this high for quite a while. You've got your segment of IU fans that are crazy rabid, and they're like old school Liverpool fans. This year's our year. No, it's probably not.
Right.
But I mean, Woodson is a hell of a get as a coach. And
I would agree.
It's awesome he's an IU guy, but it's more awesome that he's an NBA guy, because that means he understands the modern player. And I think I mentioned this last week. You can't bitch about not getting Big Ten titles and going to Final Fours and stuff like that, and also complain that kids only stick around for a couple years. That's the game now, folks. John Calipari has mastered it.
Yep.
Certain coaches have mastered it. And if you want to be competing on that level, you need to acknowledge that. And I think Woodson recognizes that. And because he's an IU guy, he's going to make sure these are upstanding kids, that he's growing them into young men, and they're going to classes and getting a decent education. But he's going to instill in them that, hey, if you're ready to go in your sophomore or junior year, go. IU will be here to give you your education when you're ready for it. And he's recruiting blue chip kids from Indiana and around the country in a way that we've not seen before. And the 2022 class is considered far and away the best in the country.
Wow.
So I'm cautiously optimistic because I don't want to put too much pressure, but there's already a core of kids that are solid. And if you can bring in some of these freshmen that are really, really ready to play, gonna get big minutes, look out, Purdue.
Okay. All right. My final sports ball question of the night to you. Hey, Aaron, how many matches will Arsenal win this year? Nick McDonald, that was for you, my friend. There you go.
We were talking about this a little bit earlier. And this might sound a little conspiratorial, but I'm kind of inclined to think that the ownership and the board were probably already into thinking that Arteta didn't have much time. The rumor is he's got the first 5 games. But more importantly, I think the Brentford game was always going to be kind of a banana peel. Arsenal, especially in the last decade or so, stumble a little bit out of the gate trying to find their feet and then usually right the ship and get things right. But your first game's Brentford, so is what it is. But then you play Chelsea and City. And the fact is, it doesn't matter who's manager. Arsenal doesn't have the players to beat those 2 teams. So I think you let Arteta have those losses, then get rid of him. Hopefully they've been talking behind the scenes and there's somebody ready to go. Zidane's available. Conte's available.
Klinsmann.
I don't think Klinsmann wants to coach anymore.
No, I don't think so either.
The irony of Klinsmann is he'd be perfect for the U.S. guys right now. The U.S. guys he coached weren't up to that standard. And, I know he had this belief that he could elevate them and he did some, but I think he alienated just as many. But this core group of guys, they know what it means to play at a high level. They understand the sacrifice and the burn that comes with it. And I think he'd have found a lot of guys, the Weston McKennies, the Tyler Adams, the Christian Pulisics. I think he'd really enjoy coaching those guys.
So, okay. Well,
so back to the question.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal will.
Where will they finish table-wise? What do you think?
7th.
Okay. All right. Well, you sparked another question if you're okay with it. Do we make the World Cup?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we are probably going to waltz through qualifying. We just have too much talent now. When I look at the other teams, I just don't see anybody remotely capable of competing with us. I know everybody's down on Berhalter, and he may not be the ultimate answer, but at the end of the day, just there's too much talent and too much fire in the bellies. Watch the end of that USA Trinidad game and keep your eyes on Christian Pulisic. Okay. He's devastated that he's not going to his first World Cup. If you don't think there's a WhatsApp chat group amongst about 8, 9, maybe 25 guys talking about fucking Chucky Lozano and the rest of Mexico up in Cincinnati this fall, you're kidding yourselves. Man. These guys are chomping at the bit.
They're ready to play.
Josh Sargent, 2 goals and an assist on his debut for Norwich yesterday. Weston McKennie, ready to kick some ass for Juventus. Tyler Adams and RB Leipzig. Gio
Reyna's playing well.
Already whipping ass. Gio Reyna. Pulisic, when he can keep himself out of the quarantine, is looking good.
Yep.
We just got talent all over the place, man. We got kids I've never heard of getting minutes for teams in Europe right now. That's the biggest sign ever. And you still got a couple dudes. I'm sorry. Jazzy Zardes, until somebody knocks him out, he's still part of the spot. Legit. Yeah. I think we got a lot of dudes that are ready to go. The irony is our weak spot is goalie, but hey, man, score 5. The other team has to score 6.
Yeah. Yep. And so, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead.
Now I want to add one thing because you started with IU. I want to say this on the sports ball. IU soccer preseason #1.
There you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the sports ball version of the Hey Aaron segment. Aaron, that was awesome, man. Thank you so much for your insight. Come to the end of the show. Like I said, my second favorite segment is having Aaron send us out with the final word. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Looking forward to taking this shot after you send us out, my friend. What you got for us?
Yeah, you know what? This was a fun one. It was a crummy day around Indy. A lot of rain. Weather's been all over the place. It's been hot. Power was out for 35,000 people in Indianapolis. That's not good for AES. Get your shit together. But I think the people that tune into this show share a lot in common, and we may disagree on some minutia, but I think we recognize the value of looking out for one another. Our halftime showed that tonight. We got wonderful people in our community looking out for each other. And if you're a rando on YouTube tuning in and you're angry about mask mandates and you're angry about schools or you're angry about this or that, take a step back, take a deep breath, because you might disagree with us, but we still care about you, and we want you to be healthy. We want you to listen to the experts. We want you to have good jobs. We want your family to do well. We want this country to get back to a good place. We're not here to take away anybody's freedoms. A little temporary sacrifice for the collective good 5 years down the road is going to be amazing. But I tell you what, if we don't do it, 5 years down the road, some of you aren't going to be here. Some of your family members aren't going to be here. And you may alienate some very, very good people in your life. So remember, we are all in this together. It's going to get worse again before it gets better. But we now know there's no bullshit. There's nothing hiding behind the curtain. We know exactly what we need to do. Get vaccinated, wear a mask. If you're feeling sick, stay home, order an extra pizza. Shit, there's deals on DoorDash all the time. Sign up for Dash Pass. It's awesome. Get Drizzly delivered. Hell, hit us up. I'll wear a mask over and drop off some beer at your door.
There you go. That sounds good to me.
Just to stand there 6 feet apart and say, hey, because I haven't seen you for a while and I love you and I want you to do well. So remember, folks, we're a community. We're all in this together. This is the show. This is why we're doing it. We started it. I always say we started it because we couldn't get together in person. So we're doing this. And now we occasionally can get together in person. But damn it, that was March of 2020. It's almost September of 2021. Quit fucking around.
Yeah.
Do what you know is the right thing to do. And let's get this over with. Folks, I love you. I love you for tuning in. I love my buddy, Professor Casey. You have giant hands.
Hey.
Red Solo Cup. Woo. Folks, love you.
Vote.
Thanks for tuning in. And we will see you again next week. Make sure you hit up JoJo's link in the comments. Donate if you can't make it. Donate if you can make it. And make it. Hope to see you there. Take care, folks. Love you all.